I will try to explain architecture in 3 simple steps: data preparation, data transformation, and consumption. In preparation phase, we are reading the data from the F&O, exporting it into the data lake and injecting into the data warehouse. In transformation phase, we do all the data transformation, run a lot of SQL code to do the content that we would like to present to the users. Now, users would usually not connect to the data warehouse, but to the tabular model hosted either on premises, in Azure, or in Power BI Premium with their tool. In most cases, this is a Power BI. Let's have a look at these steps a little closer. In preparation phase, it starts with installing extension into your F&O. So export to lake extension is set up together with Azure storage account and Power BI. This is required in order to run the selected tables that are landing as CSV files in the data lake storage. Now, the data lake storage CSV files cannot be read with Polybase, cannot be really usefully consumed with Power BI, so actually the tool of choice is without any doubt Azure Synapse. So this service is reading the CSV files and materializing what we call, or inserting these tables into, in our case, in SQL Data Warehouse. The refresh time is not scheduled, it's set up by Microsoft, so we cannot affect, and also the export does not affect the production process. We expect that current 4 times a day daily update will be live in about second half of the year 2022. Let's have a look how this looks. We're connecting to export to F&O, to export to Lake, where we can see the list of all the tables, of the 15,000 tables that are available in F&O. Now, we would definitely not set up and select all tables. We will select only the tables that we are needing for data transformation. So here is a list of tables that start with letter C, just as an example, and we put this into the filter here. Now, these all tables have been selected in previous steps, and as you can see here, they are in the status of running, which means the data have been already processed. If this would be our first time, that we would select the table and activate all the table in order to start initializing and running this process. The tables are landing in the storage account, which in our case is in the production, and the structure is the same for every project. So if we look into the transactional table in inventory, so this is where we are going to find invent sum, trans, and invent trans origin. The tables are in CSV format, 200 megabyte in size. They're also smaller, and they have been updated with a timestamp as we see it here. The tables that contain data are the CSVs, and the tables that contain schema are JSON files. So in order to do some schema transformation, we have to do the transformation based on the JSON files here. Azure Synapse is the engine that does a lot, and it's going to be a future of analytics. It is a SQL and Apache engine. It also provides the pipelines, which we are not going to use. We are going to use a SQL Server engine that is, as you can see here, linked to the storage account, and it is actually available and browsable, the same data that we have seen here. So this would be an SQL query that would be executed. Just as an example, what BI4Dynamics does is a little more complex data transformation, but for a user or for implementation, you do not need to know how this is all set up. Now you may say, oh, Synapse, Azure, another Microsoft service, this might be expensive. Well, actually it is not. Each time when you are running a query, there is a log, which we can just see right now. And you can see that there was running a query like these queries are different tables, and it took different times, and the data processed. Now, Azure Synapse is a SQL on-demand engine that is charged by the data processed. And what does it mean if we process 10 megabyte of data or 2.7 gigabyte? If we would look into the how much data we have processed, let's have a look into the settings that is available here, and we will see that this week we have processed 700 gigabyte. So what it means, or how much it costs us, is the following. So 700 divided by 5, it's 140 per day, 20 times a month, 20 days in a month. So we totally process almost 3 terabyte of data, but the cost is only $5. So the processing in these projects will cost us only $14 a month, which means the minimum query of 10 MB will be like 5 of a 10,000 of a dollar, or 100,000. It's too small to know. And the one-time processing is going to cost us 70 cents of a dollar. Now, you may not know, but we are running a SQL serverless data warehouse engine, and we are not running a dedicated engine. So this is a serverless engine that is available. It's a huge and a powerful service for Microsoft. It's so good for customer in Dynamics that these are charged per data processed and not per resource as it is here. Because in this case, you would be paying $1,000 up to $330,000 per month. So this is a very, very good Microsoft service, and without any doubt, all the solutions must include this service into their architecture. The next step is data transformation. It's the process where we take a raw data from F&O in CSV forms that were landed in the staging area and do all the content and necessary transformation so that users enjoy the great content. So this is a SQL engine which is super scalable, can process terabytes of data in hours, and can digest any model, and the whole process is fully automated, so you do not have to worry whether this will be affected by a user or any environment. And the good news is that IT is not involved. It is for the modeling, what is important really is your F&O knowledge. We're not going to look into the SQL scripts, however, we're going to look into the content which is built on the 15 years of experience and supports all application area. So let's have a look into the content now. This would be a starting point for any project, and it means that we are providing this as an out-of-the-box solution, and we are going to look into the few application area, like sales dashboard. Starts with sales and inventory and receivables. We are looking into the swinging monthly sales that are shown as a moving average of 3 and 12 months. We're looking into the share of item sales and free text invoices, some averages, our delivery performance, are we late or on time. When we are comparing against year-to-date, year-on-year, or against budgets. Analysis of new businesses, new customer, returning customer, lost customer, or items. Profit or GP should be equal, as well as all other measures as they are in F&O to ascend, inventory information, and part of the receivables. Now, as this is an overview, it means that the details are in other reports, and we are going to look into this. So in every case, we are looking into the same data, the same process. We are just looking into from a different perspective, where we are bringing some item table as a customer table. We could be also focused more into item, and we bring the hierarchy that we want to analyze. Now, what is your best customer? You will choose by not one but several KPIs. In sales, we have 300 KPIs to choose from, so that you can see what is good, which is green, so it's like great sales, great year-to-date growth in absolute or in relative terms, or what is bad, a lot of overdue, increase in receivable balance, or not a lot of action or a lot of invoices is happening here. Now another view is a view by date, because without any doubt this is the most important dimension. We provide 50 attributes in date dimension, and you may see that apart from the transaction values, we have also the reporting currency. We call this additional currency, where in this case there is a corporate currency selected that is different in exchange rate as one-on-one, as you can see here. And only with these reporting services we provide about 300 KPIs in the reporting currency itself here. It is also understood that at any time we can filter the tables with Power BI with attributes from another table here. Now let's see some of the details. When we are looking into the delivery, we are looking into the days late and amount late. If a document or a line has been late, and that's based on the promised, planned, expected delivery date, then we are logging into the days late, and we can analyze amount late here. And this part is of course available also in the purchasing part, where we are looking into whether our vendors are delivering us goods or services on time or they are late. So this is a great for delivery performance analysis. We may be into the new business analysis, where we are looking into how many new items or new customers have been sold. And this is a list for a quarter in 2018. These are all demo data, and which, by the way, you can analyze just after this session. You can see I'm logged in here as demo at BI4Dynamics, and we do provide you with absolutely the same experience with the same login as I'm doing this presentation right now. So this is a user that you connect to the Power BI service, and this is the login Power BI will allow with Zero to get absolutely the same experience as I did. Now we can look into the sales transactions if the customer are changing assortment or any other view. Let's just go through other areas really quick. So we can see in the finance, we can provide information about the financial statement in a visual, tabular or graphical way. We support up to 15 financial dimensions in F&O. And what is also very important for corporates, we have seen the additional currency or reporting currency, as well as date hierarchies as a normal calendar or fiscal date calendar. And this fiscal date calendar also supports the fiscal based time intelligence. What means that calendar date starts in January, the fiscal date starts in July, and we do provide a year-to-date measure. As you can see here, this is a need change or sales. It doesn't matter, year-to-date fiscal, and this is year-to-date variance, which is based on the calendar. It's good because you can see that the performance can be wildly different if there is a exchange rate. Now, in most cases, the KPIs that we have in BI4Dynamics do not require any explanation, are easy to be consumed, and also the navigation through the reports is simple. So if we see here, this is receivable aging by aging buckets over the 2 years that we selected. And if we want to see why is this value here a negative one, every table here is being filtered. We look into the customer value, and you can see this is a customer whose balance in this time was -33, and we can go to the document level, which was an open document, should probably not be open, it should be applied to an invoice if that was open at that time. Or for example, top-bottom approach, if we are looking into the aging buckets, and we can just ask who is owing us money more than 2 years. We can see this customer, and with one more click we have the documents that are open at that time for more than 2 year time. Now I would just highlight one feature, that is inventory balance by aging group. So we have a buckets of aging. It means items not moving less than 100 days to a year, or more than a year, and the report would look like this. So you can see the inventory value goes down, which makes us happy. Turnover is faster, which is great. However, if we're looking into the total value by aging buckets, we can see that we are successfully decreasing already fast moving items, but definitely not successfully items which are not moving already by default. And furthermore, we can look into like this, where we would say, do we have a problem or not? So what we have is the aging buckets for an item, where aging buckets are here. A few items, 3 items are under 100 days, which is fine. 99 items are not moving 100 days to a year, and 11 more than a year. And if you look into the aging stock value and compare this value to the last purchase price, then we can see that this bucket here has almost double the price as if you would buy this item now, and this is the average purchase price in the period, which actually confirms this. We have also a good feeling to have a feeling how big of an impact this will be from our balance sheet into the profit and loss. We can see what is the frequency of purchasing, selling, last purchase quantity, and other information just in one simple table. Further, we just have a blend into the manufacturing. We are looking into, we have done probably between 50 and 100 manufacturing projects, where we can look at everything that has been consumed by cost groups to everything that we have consumed, produced, and we look into selecting procurement category. Let's say Lady Gaga jeans. This is a manufacturer of textile. We can see the quantities, average cost, how good our plans or bill of materials are, and what we have consumed. So we can at any time we know what was the produced cost, what we have produced, what is the what are the trends, and how are the capacities. We can go to the equipment efficiency and everything that is in the manufacturing, really a lot. And another area that just have a glimpse about this is retail. We have done probably more than 100 retails. So here we are looking into the retail specifics. Retail is everything you have seen in sales plus the retail specific, like basket value, receipts, sales distribution by time, voided transactions, a lot of operational statistics. We look into the basket value, how this is done by the quarter, by the hour, by the store. We have two different types of the stores to analyze by time to a quarter, and for example payment habits of your customer, cash versus cards, and on it goes. So all this comes as an out-of-the-box solution on day one from BI4Dynamics, and our approach is that we don't say we have done 1,000 projects and we can deliver whatever we want. We can say, okay, this is experience from 1,000 projects. We will install it, you will consume it for a while in the POC, but then you just tell us if there is something missing, what is missing. So that's the focus on our project. The last part in our architecture is data consumption. This is a business or semantic layer where users would connect with Excel and Power BI or any other tool. We have seen already the user experience, and I'm just going to explain the implementation option of this business layer. So in every case, we are hosting the data in the tabular model. What is the hosting environment? It can be on premises, where analysis services is available on existing hardware, and the access is of course the local, no web access. If we are deciding to host the analysis services by Microsoft, then we would pay per service, not per user, and depending on the data size and the query performance that we have provide to our users, we would select the right service. Last and the most interesting option is to deploy the tabular model into the Power BI premium capacity, also hosted by Microsoft, where we are paying per user, not per server. We don't have to pay $5,000 per month, and it can host bigger models. It's really performant. It provides web and mobile, everything that is available in the Pro account plus more. So this is something that gives you the control over the cost and the features without any compromise. BI over content over services, because we can always go to the document level. We don't have to do services on aggregation and aggregations, and the data size can start with gigabytes or terabytes. The SQL will crunch this data. Semantic layer will aggregate this data, and user will be super happy because all their queries are always in memory. And with different implementation option and setting up of your Azure services will help you to save money on Azure subscriptions and be super flexible for any foreseeable growth in the future. Another very important thing is the convergence of IT managed corporate model and self-service BI. And this is something that is a must in every project, because users would like to connect to other sources and not go to IT for kind of changes. So how it works? Now, as a base, this feature is available in architectures that are provided in tabular model hosted in Azure Analysis Services or in Power BI Premium. So this feature is not available in analysis services hosted on premises. So the data that we have seen are hosted in a tabular model, a corporate model. This one hosts 135 dimensional and 45 transactional table. What a composite model means that we are combining two things, the corporate model and the personal data. How it happens? Now we open a Power BI desktop and we connect to the corporate model in a direct query, not in the live but in the direct query mode, and it makes available all tables from the corporate model in our Power BI desktop file or Power BI desktop model. Then we can combine this corporate source with any data that Power BI can connect or provide. It means like 120 databases or data sources that Power BI provides. Everything is available from Excel, social media on the web, or any other part. And after we are creating the model in our Power BI desktop, we are then, if we are using a Power BI Premium, publishing this model back to Power BI service. It is another data set in Power BI service. If we have Azure Analysis Services, then we can share the file with our team members. The data in this tabular model, the corporate data, are always in a corporate data source. The data are viewed, they are not traveling or copied from the corporate data source. We keep one version of true, and this is always managed by IT. But this exercise can be done with advanced users who have permission to publish into specific workspace within the Power BI Premium and will not bother IT at all. So this is by SQL BI team the best feature of Power BI for the year 2021. Let's have a look how it looks. So this is already a quickly built model which we start creating by table. Adding a table will force our connection to the Power BI data source to be in a direct query mode, and this is the way that we added the sales values and date as to dimension. As well, we can revisit and add any other table. Now, as you can see, we can add, for example, just add a real quick currency and company. Okay, so now the new tables are coming to the model, and because this is a direct query connection, the data are always in the corporate data source, and we can extend the model that we have created with any other source from Microsoft Power BI, which means 120 data sources and databases and connectors are available. Of course, we have to take care about the common denominator. In this case, we have a date. Date in the budget is the attribute in the date dimension. and this is it. So now we can publish the changes into the corporate data source or into the workspace that is available, or we are having permission to, and this is the way how we can access and share it with others. So everyone else who would like to do will just connect to this data source, which is residing in Power BI service. And we can also do the subscription of this, as you can see. So the most important part again about this composite model is that the data are in the corporate data model. Our schema is available to be extended with any other external data source that Power BI supports. Another very useful feature in large organizations especially is our paginated reports. And paginated reports are created in Power BI Report Builder. That is a standalone application that you download, connect to any data source. It may not be just the Power BI, it cannot be just the Power BI dataset, can be anything else, and you create a simple report. It's a paginated report also. It says that it should look like a page, and if you look into like this is a view. However, the power of getting this is into different formats. So it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF, TIFF. You can publish it to the web page or send it by email. So let's just look how it looks if we send this by email. So we are going to go to design and publish the report. So we can publish it to any Power BI Premium workspace. This is already a report from the previous exercise. We are connecting. Now we are connecting to the Power BI Premium per user workspace, and this is the report. Now we're not going to consume the report in a form like this, but we are just going to create a subscription or actually view the subscription. The subscription number 1 will be sending the PDF format of this report to the users A every day 8 in the morning, and the users in the group B will receive this in Excel. So you say, okay, what does it mean, user A and B? What kind of users are? So actually I will be sending this to myself and then using the rules in Outlook based on the name of the subject. This will be forwarding report to user A, and this will be forwarded to user B. Very useful in large organizations and for those who just want to go to their printer and get the report in hand. Now the design could be better, but just for a showcase this is good. Now the question goes, can this be done with Power BI? I would say not the same way. So let's see the differences between the Premium per user and Power BI Pro. So it's easy to understand from this table that everything that is in the Power BI Pro is also in the Power BI Premium, and almost everything that is the Power BI Premium per capacity is always available in Power BI Premium per user. Now the key differences are, one, for data modeling is definitely the model size, because Power BI Pro maximum size is 1 GB and in the Power BI Premium per user is 100 GB. This will force the modeling effort to be not granular as you like to do, but a lot of effort in aggregation so that you get the model compact enough to be able to be published. The refresh rate is 8 times a day, and here is 48 times a day. For us, very important is that we can publish the tabular model. This is the name of the feature, is XML endpoint read-write connectivity. It's a tabular model as a superset of Power BI in Power BI Premium. This is a feature that enables us. Plus, very important is we can work with paginated reports, which means we can create in a report builder a report and send it to anyone, even if it's not a Power BI Pro user, not directly, but through an Outlook replication. So that definitely makes the difference between $10 per user per month and $20 per user per month as a very good bargain, a Power BI Premium per user option. What about the cost? You may say, yeah, this is Microsoft, they must charge you for this. And what we are discussing here are only the monthly Azure costs. There's nothing with the BI4Dynamics license, because this is a part that depends on the many other parameters. So in our case, we have an example of database size in F&O about 100 gigabyte, and the preparation part is not expensive at all to support on a monthly basis. Let's say $20-30 for a data lake storage, and $10-20 approximately per month for Azure Synapse. Now, Azure VM with 8 core and 64 GB of memory would cost you around $2 per hour, and if you run it like 1.5 hours a day, that is 30 hours a month, which is in the range of $60. If you would need a higher VM, then it will be in the range of $90 or $110. Definitely, transformation is also not a considerable cost for the database of this size. Now, the costs occur in an area of analytics, where for this case, this is not the cheapest one. It is just the service that supports tier 2 with 25 GB of disk space or memory space, because database is in memory, for 200 hours, $2 per hour. You would pay $400, and that's also the cost for 20 Power BI Premium user, 720 hour, like 24/7, and the data model size is 100 gigabyte, not 200 it says. So this can be, of course, much cheaper if you do not have that big database, or the number of the user is not that big. And the total cost is in the range of $500. And this is very affordable and reasonable.